I want you to bounce on it. Crazy style. Welcome. I just heard my family say, what the fuck did he just say? Welcome back to the channel. I am the Pumpkinator. Today we're going to be covering the Bounce comic series. But first, I want to thank you guys for 5,000 subscribers. Oh my god. Who knew Big Butts brought the boys in? And you guys have been super excited for it. I'm a little too excited if you're asking me. Just calm it down a little bit. But in all seriousness, I do want to thank you guys for real. You have no idea what this means to me. I know it's like 5,000, but like, thank you. Anyway, back to Bounce. Created by Joe Casey and David Messina for Image Comics in 2014, The Bounce is definitely a series. You may know Joe Casey's other work because he's written for Uncanny X-Men, Adventures of Superman, and Sex, the comic series. He's also one of the founders of Man of Action Entertainment. They're a writer collective that works on various brands of media, and they brought us things like Ben 10 and Generator X. This guy made my childhood. You may also know David Messina because he's done a whole bunch of artwork for the Star Trek comics, the Andrew comics, you know, the character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and some Doctor Who comics. So they both got a pretty good track record. So it's kind of a strange way this comic goes. But enough about them. Let's dive into The Bounce. Issue 1 starts with a guy ripping a bong. For real? Shit. This guy, his name's Jasper Jenkins, and he's got everything figured out. Although his friend Terry doesn't seem to think so. Terry starts coming down on him for being high on a Wednesday, but Jasper says stop harshing and passes the bong. When Terry gets the bong, they hear a news alert on the TV. Apparently the Midtown police chief is in a hostage situation, and the cops aren't doing anything about it. Terry takes a fat rip from that thing, but when he turns around, Jasper's gone. We then cut to the hostage situation where things are looking a little bleak. The bad guy's crushing the police chief, but then Bounce blasts through the window. He bounces off the wall and banks off the guy, pushing him straight out the window. They keep fighting until Crunch tries to crush him too, and also gets his ears clapped. He doesn't really like the heat that he brought upon himself, so he just kind of dips. Bounce is about to go after him, but the cops show up, which means that it's time to go. He bounces off the wall and lives to fight another day. Okay, I gotta say, him bouncing off of stuff in full fetal is kind of funny to me. Also, bro did that high, and that's pretty impressive. We then cut to DA's Jenkins' office, who's Jasper's brother, and he's pissed that the chief is dead. He wants someone to prosecute, so he tells the cops to freaking lock in. And when the cops leave, the DA pops some Vicodin in. Oh yeah? Calm down there, yeah? We then see some military men seeing the news about the chief's murder, but then they hear a mysterious voice. The voice basically taunts them for everything that's going on. They ask him who he is, and he introduces himself as the Darling. He's kind of like a super spy, and his entire background for the last 20 years has been extremely intensive. And he's made some sort of deal with the government, probably super shady. This freak eats a lizard and then leads them down his secret hallway. He tells them that they've been developing something for years for a situation just like this. The project is called The Grand Design, and by the looks of it, it's gonna mess some stuff up. We then see Jasper at the club, and he's trying to score some more drugs. The dealer tells him it's not gonna be cheap, so he pays the dealer and he leads him into the bathroom where he meets the Fog, who I personally thought was gonna be the dealer, but he's actually the drug. Jasper breathes in that stank and starts tripping immediately. He sees this mysterious woman who tells him to stay calm and to breathe. He keeps falling until he finds himself outside in his suit where he sees a bunch of other superheroes, but then he sees a man who's been waiting there for him. Now that's just issue 1. The rest of the story is a little bit more strange, I'll say. So the guy that's actually waiting for him, his name's Xander, and he's actually one of Jasper's old friends. Xander tells him to follow him if he wants answers. They walk past this Dr. Doom looking guy and enter an elevator, where Xander asks him how he got there. Bounce says he took some crazy stuff, and Xander's low-key jealous, because things have not been going super well for Xander in this world. Not only do people ignore him, but he can't do drugs. No! Well, the everybody ignoring him part isn't completely true. For people to actually acknowledge him, he has to do something drastic, like pulling a Lois Lane and jumping off the roof. This freaks out Bounce and he tries to save his buddy, but a different super gets him first. As Bounce falls, he starts to come down from the high and he finds himself back in the bathroom, where there's a police raid going on in the club. They all try to escape, but eventually they all get caught, and Jasper gets knocked out. After this, they explain what happens to Xander. 6 months earlier, Terry was trying to convince Xander and Jasper to move to California, where the best cushions grow. But Xander and Jasper don't really know if they want to leave New York, especially when they have a certain job opportunity going for them. And that opportunity is basically becoming a lab rat for a company that's testing energy frequencies on human cells. They get put into a reactor room where they start the test, and everyone gets vaporized, including Xander, right in front of Jasper's eyes. When the test is done, Jasper is the only one that's still alive. And they want to keep him there so they can observe him to see why he survived. And that's also how Jasper got his powers. But in the present day, Jasper is kind of getting chewed out by his DA brother, who pulled some strings to get him out of trouble. But, you know, he's still kind of upset. Jasper leaves in a huff and the DA hears the bottle calling to him again. After this, we see the Darling in DC trying to get backing for his little project, all while the Bounce is kicking ass. The rest of the comic is him trying to find out about that world that he went to, and how he can possibly save his friend. His investigation starts with the drug guy who sent him there initially, but he says he's got nothing there for him. When he visits his brother, he sees a picture of the girl that he saw when he was tripping. Her name is Silver, and she's some sort of psychic. She actually put in a tip that the police chief was going to get murdered 12 hours before it actually happened. Damn, so the cops had all that and they still let him die? They really sit on their thumbs that time, huh? When he does visit her, he tries to ask her questions, but she knows that he's been on the other side. She tells him that there's someone that can help him, but they're hiding underground deep under the city. When he follows her instructions, he finds the rock guy that he was fighting earlier, bursting through the wall. Bounce tries to catch up to him, but then the rock guy breaks down in tears. Oh my god. He says something to him in Spanish, which I don't know Spanish. Please tell me what he says in the comments. But before he can figure it out himself, they get ambushed by the military, who just kind of open fire. They shoot a freaking flamethrower at him, which I'm pretty sure that's against the Geneva Convention. And Bounce tries to fight him off, but unfortunately they set the rock guy on fire and then riddle him with bullets, killing him. So now Bounce is back at square one. With no leads, he goes back to Silver, who he finds meditating. He tells her that the person that she sent him to find was killed, but she doesn't seem too bothered by that. She says they need to talk, and she hopes he's ready to listen. Things get a little bit steamy until they start to bone! Yes! This is what I live for! While they're doing the thing, Silver explains that there's a barrier that keeps us all apart. For him to reach the place that he's looking for, he has to let go of all of his pain. He has to have life on life, if you catch my drift. And that's the only way that he can get through the barrier. And also, in the other world, your mask is your identity. But she must have that ooey gooey because our boy starts cracking up that barrier. She tells him he has something special and that he can be his own gateway to the other place. And that place is called Saturne. And now they're gonna come together to the new place. Jasper finds himself in front of Xander again, and Xander's just as confused as he is, but Jasper wants to get down to business. Xander wants to know how he's able to shift through worlds, but Jasper is more curious about where his Silver went. Yeah, I'd be too, you know what I'm saying? Xander wants to show him something and he runs in front of a bus, but other supers save him again. They go to a diner where Xander explains everything. Well, not really. He's in a world full of superheroes and he's the only one without powers. Every single time he tries to off himself, he gets saved, which is starting to piss him off. Jasper wants more answers, but Xander thinks that maybe Jasper is the answer. Well, that's not good enough for our boy, so he tries to find Silver to see if she can help him. But when he leaves, he finds himself back with the Betty, who doesn't seem to be waking up. He calls 911 and the ambulance shows up, and so does his brother, who starts ripping him a new one because he thinks that he has something to do with it. The brother starts questioning him about Silver because he knows that he went there because of him, but Jasper just tells him that he wouldn't understand, which honestly, he probably wouldn't because he's kind of an asshole. And he has other things on his plate because a prison transfer was ambushed, but our bouncy boy is on the scene. He takes out the henchman and takes on the main Betty. But when she touches him, he gets his life sucked out of him. While she's draining him, she starts talking mad crap. She takes his mask off and it's like, damn, I don't know who you are, bro. But then the cops pull up, causing her to flee. But she makes an explosion that causes distraction, allowing both of them to escape. He goes home where his roommate finds him booty ball naked. And after this, he goes and he checks on Silver, but you know, she's in a coma, so nothing really happens. The only thing that really happens is that it sets up the next fight, where it shows Crunch tearing through an office building on the news. He's high-key depressed and actually there to end it all, and he jumps off. But Bounce pulls up to not save him. Like, what? So many questions. How would you have saved him? It seems like every single person that he tries to save dies, and every single super that he tries to fight, he loses. Then he goes home and gets stoned. Except this time, when he gets stoned, he gets sent to the other world again, where he sees Silver. But she doesn't see him, but she sees this guy though. Xander's actually there, and it's like, yo, what's up, dog? I've been getting sniz on the reg. Apparently, Silver's been sleeping around a lot in the new world, and Xander's watching a sex tape of Silver having sex with a different person. And as you would imagine, this pisses off Jasper enough to snap back to reality. He goes and he visits his brother for some reason, who's not doing too hot himself. He finds out that he's addicted to drugs and messes with him about it a little bit. But seeing his brother so low, he decides that he wants to try to tell him that he's a bounce. But of course, Jeremiah interrupts him and decides to blow up his career instead. He tells the cops to pull up to the morgue where all the soup's bodies are being held. Well, this almost causes a shootout between the police and the military. Well, that's until Bounce pulls up and stops them from killing each other. And this basically takes an entire issue, just padding that runtime. When he goes home, he smokes again, but there's a knock on the door. It's this cool, creepy little guy who gives him a thumb drive with top secret information. Turns out the government's been painting him as the main perpetrator for all the things that he's been fighting. There's also a map to Pennsylvania that they want him to go to. But he says he's not really interested in it anymore, and he decides to go to bed, where he enters the other world again. When he's in there, he decides to go visit the hospital where Silver's at, which, if it's a different world, I don't know how he would know where she's, I don't know, dog. He tries to talk to her, but she's all colorful now. Xander shows up, and he's kind of dying. Apparently a hole ripped open in the sky, and now all the supers are going towards it. But then he gets snapped back to reality, and he finds himself on a Greyhound heading towards Pennsylvania. Somehow. He makes his way to the ping location and suits up for battle. He sneaks in where he sees the Darling waiting for him. Oh yeah, remember that guy? Well, you may have noticed that I haven't mentioned him a whole bunch because he keeps doing the same thing over and over again. He just works with the military, and whenever a super dies, he hooks it up to the machine. To the story's credit, they do cover his backstory, where he uses his son to try to get over to the other world, and how he's behind Jasper getting his powers, but it's like, I kind of just assumed that, you know? It wasn't super exciting to me. Anyway, the person who invited Jasper to the location was the Darling himself, and he's making a portal to the other world, because just like Jasper, he feels like the world is missing something. So he's trying to bring that something here. Jasper sees how the machine is destroying the world, so he tries to put a stop to it, but he gets sent to the other world through the portal. Xander dies, fucking rip, and the other world starts falling apart. But don't worry, because Silver's here to exposit. She explains that their visit to this world attracts an entity that wants to feed off the light of this world, ultimately killing it. Meanwhile, the Darling cranks up the machine, and the Eldritch Beam comes shooting out of the portal and hits a corpse, which turns a dead Crunch into a vessel. Silver tells him that he has to take out the evil thing, and gives him a kiss, sending him back. And when he gets there, he sees that the evil Crunch is about to kill the Darling, so he jumps into action. He heals him off so that the Darling can finish his calculations, and then the Darling eats a lizard and starts kicking Crunch's ass. Darling pushes Crunch into the portal, and the singularity happens, and we see a new Earth, where everything is just right, and everyone is happy. And that's the end of the series, and I'm just gonna say it, I'm not the biggest fan of the story. Don't get me wrong, the art and the character designs were really cool, and I think that they had some really cool concepts in here, but I think the way that they executed it was just wrong. Like, when he started tripping and he saw Silver and then entered a different world, I got really excited. And when he started investigating Silver and he found her, I was like, okay, we're gonna get some partial answers, you know? And I thought there was gonna be like a dual investigation type thing, where like he investigates Silver and then it would ultimately lead to the Darling, while also investigating how he can try to get his friend Xander out, but they didn't do that. Instead, they made all of his leads die. He's just in the dark the entire time, and he's also like a bad hero because he doesn't save the chief, he doesn't save the rock guy, he doesn't save the Crunch, and he doesn't save Xander. And then the Darling becomes the hero in the end, and I wish we spent more time with him, but instead we spent most of the time hanging out with this guy smoking J's, or I guess bongs. It just wasn't my favorite thing ever. But that's just what I thought about the comic. I would love to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If I missed anything, please let me know, and give me some comic suggestions as well. Also, like the video and subscribe so I can get a crumb of validation. But I'll see you guys in the next one. And make sure you tell your family that you love them. Bye-bye now.